Sorry about that, guys. We had some technical difficulties on my end. I was getting small indie companied there by our beautiful client here. But yeah, so we are here with another week one matchup coming out of Group A. We have the Hashira, formerly known last split as Hidden Leaf, versus Scorch. So two returning teams coming here and joining us. And yeah, we are already into the draft here as we see Silas, Rumble, Volley Bear, Amumu getting taken away from the jungle pool, and then top laners, the Hashira, attacking Ares here. So I did have the privilege of scrimming both of these teams. I scrimmed Scorch um, a while back, and very very talented team. I think they're still getting used to the roster change with Banana Sword joining them mid lane full time again. So they've had a lot of time to work on that, and I'm excited to see how much they've improved. And knowing Scorch, they're going to figure it out. These five have been playing together for a while. Officially, they played two splits ago when Banana Sword was the main sub, and they got them to playoffs, and then Banana Sword comes back now as the mid laner. So this is not anything new to them at all. And the Hashira is Hidden Leaf. I believe this is the same starting five back. They have changed some names around. As you can see, they are big anime fans. So probably if you want to message any of these guys about the new Demon Slayer movie, they'll be more than happy to have a conversation about that. So yeah, I'm excited to see these two teams on the Rift. This is a Group A Week 1 matchup. So we do see Scorch coming out with the Pantheon B1, a flex pick between Rusty and Ares. The Hashira going with the Varus and the Zyra. Zyra being kind of a flex pick that we've started to see come out. AP junglers are becoming more and more prevalent, I think, as this week's action has gone on. And actually, if this Braum locks in, this is dedicated to now being a Zyra jungle. I will wait until this gets locked in. Okay, this is locked in. I think Zyra jungle is absolutely just dumb insane to play into. She just has such a just she's impossible to run into because she does so much just damage across the board. She has so much zoning. The ult is absolutely insane. And she just literally, like, to me, pulls the Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, where it's like, you shall not pass, and Zyra can make it happen. There's very few ways around it. I know artillery mages are very, very good in the herd, but I feel like those mages are slept on. We do see Hui absorbing a ban. Guillaume getting attacked here with the Akali. Talking about when we scrimmed the Hashira, again, not going to leak anything, but I did have the chance of laning against Guillaume, and he's an absolute fantastic mid laner. Loves to play a lot of these hands check style champions. I believe last split he was known for his Yone, so it wouldn't surprise me if he plays the other Winbro. You see the Akali and maybe the Aurelia getting banned away. You know, these are champions that Guillaume is definitely very, very practiced and proficient on. So he reminds me a lot of Binky from our champions last split, where it's just give me a melee champ and I'm gonna play this lane so well, and then if you trade, like we're gonna hands check the trade and see what happens there. So, um, but yeah, it was a really fun laning phase. Really enjoyed playing against the Hashira quite a bit. But we talked. We I spoke up about how he is great with the hands check champs, and yeah, now we've got a blind pick Syndra coming out here. So I'm kind of curious to see what Bananasaur has to answer. I know a little bit about playing into Bananasaur. He has a unique champ pool. One thing I've seen him pull out is, the Xerath is very high up on his mastery, and he's not afraid to play that. I think the Xerath actually might be in play here. Note that the Hashira does not have really much engage here, and I think this is the perfect champion to answer into a Zyra. We see the Victor come out as well. I've been on the receiving end of Banana's Victor. Really, really proficient at that champ, but I do like this Xerath if this gets locked in. This man knows how to play some Xerath. So, I will say I did steal a wind off his Xerath. But yeah, I really like what this Xerath does. I think this is the other way that you can attack Zyra is if you're not going to engage into us, then we're not going to engage into you, and we're going to pick scaling options. So this Sivir coming out, the Milio is real nice. This Scion I think is really, really good here. Not that there's a lot of just upfront damage for him to tank, but it's still this big brick wall that they've got to walk through to get to this Zyra, and it's a lot of deterrence overall. Sorry, I was letting both teams know that I am ready to go. Note, because of client issues, I cannot chat anything in the box. So, but yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, on this Scion. Scion versus Pantheon. I think Pantheon has ways of bullying him around early, but if this Scion can kind of play the waiting game here, I think it'll be perfectly fine overall. So, really, really excited to see this matchup. So, just waiting for the teams to get ready here. And away we go. So, I do like Scorch's answer to a lot of these champions. If this Xerath gets even or even remotely ahead, he can cause a lot of hell for the backline of the Hashira, but the Hashira has a few go buttons overall, like the Scion and Syndra Stun can set up Zyra quite well. The only thing I'm concerned about is I feel like Varus wants to go on hit lethal tempo just to help proc Braum passive, but I don't know if that's going to be worth it. I mean, the on hit's going to feel great in the Sejuani, but then he's completely outranged from the Xerath and the rest of the backline. I would honestly think I want lethality Varus here for two reasons. I think he can still be able to be effective in this game with the range and with the damage, and he can follow up if anybody walks into Syndra or Zyra like Fog of War. But also, it does give him an opportunity to build Serpent's Fang here, and I think that Serpent's Fang is going to be quite useful when Pantheon gets eclipsed, when Melio starts spamming shields and heals and everything else going on in this game. So, um, yeah, I'm curious to see where Arya goes with that build here. So, but yeah, we're going to let's move over here. And actually, I will switch the names just for clarity purposes. The Hashira is on the red side here for game 1. Scorch is on the blue side. Kind of make this name a little bit bigger just so they're fairly even here. So for anybody in the chat, what team comp do you guys prefer? What do you want to see here? How do you think this game is going to end up turning out? I will say, while I'm waiting for that, we do have another series going on here at around 8:30 with our Rec League champions, Capuchungus Deluxe, going against one of our returning playoff teams, Coin Flip, here. So big Week 1 test for our Rec League champs, but overall, I think it's going to be a big challenge. And Coin Flip making a small lineup change here with Bori going into the bot lane. Bori, an ADC that is widely respected as one of the best in the server here. Woohoo! Week 1, yeah, Rusty. Let's see what you got here. You got a tall tale ahead of you. You got a lot of shit you got to walk through too. So. Yeah, we'll see how this one goes. There is a lot of access to globals between the Xerath and the Pantheon here, so catching, say, Syndra on side lane or Zyra in the jungle, I think is going to be key here, especially in this like level 6 to 9, 10 area. So. Once this goes into a spectator delay, we will be running a 3-minute ad, just so they will not pop up during the game. And then after that, we'll be here with game 1. Alright. I'll be back with game 1 of Scorch versus the Hashira. Alrighty, we are in game 1 of the Hashira versus Team Scorch. Scorch on the blue side, Hashira on the red side for this game 1. So we do see a level 1 stack coming out here from both sides. Oh no, 5-point coming out of Scorch.
Minions have spawned.
Alright, sorry about that. I had to tab out real quick before the game started. So, I think I'm going to be paying attention to the solo lanes here. I just want to see how Ares uses this early game advantage. And I want to see how Bananasaur plays this Xerath Syndra matchup. Big trade coming out of Giyu up on the Scion. Got the level 2 push on the Ares. So, ward spotted out here for the Hashira on their Raptors, so nice trade from Guillaume. They're already starting to stack up the splinters a little bit. Ares, though, looking for a first blood here with a nice little trade back onto Giyu. Both top laners did have to burn Flash. Really well played by Ares. Instead of Flash and charging up the Q, just wait for the cooldown. Then did a Q Flash there. Bananasaur getting kind of pushed around a little bit. Syndra can create a little bit of her own advantage early in this laning phase, but after about the second back, I feel like Xerath, there's not much Syndra can do into this much range here, but we'll see how this ends up going. Bot lane is going to be just pretty back and forth. Not much going on. Akuza, though, in this Raptor pit, I think I've seen this this flash move before out of Akuza. But doesn't pull the trigger out on it. Bananasaur does have to back. Looks like he's going to miss a few CS here. Well, I missed about 3 to 4. So Syndra going for the boots and null magic mantle early. So looking to go Merc Treads early to get himself movement speed to dodge a lot of these skill shots coming out of here. Big fan of that. When I played against the Xerath, I got first blood and then rushed Swifties on my first back as a Nivea. So Ares getting traded on here, and the gank coming out from Akuza Zyra here, and Scion will get the takedown. So one kill apiece up on this top side, though Ares did get the solo kill. So he got the little extra bonus experience while Giyu was on the recipient of a gank. I had a little 2v2 scuffle here in the mid lane. Guillaume is level 6, but without any amp tomes, this ult's not going to be the most powerful out of the Syndra here. Also did bring the phase rush here. So just looking for just kind of more team fightery. Stunned for Bananasaur goes wide. Nice sidestep from Guillaume here. He's got himself a little bit of a CS lead here, but the rest of the lanes are pretty even. So 700 gold lead overall for Team Scorch. Alright. Now we're done snacking here. Sorry. Tried to sneak a snack in during that spectator delay. So Guillaume's eaten quite a bit of this poke here, though he does have about a 15 CS lead coming with the wave states being fairly even here. And Scion ulting backwards? So, bot lane of Arya and Tegan will end up backing Boonstra on the Sivir. Just able to clear this wave pretty quickly. Pretty quiet early game, which both teams don't mind. I think we'll start to see a pretty explosive level, like 7 to 9 area, once these ults start to just kind of get unlocked. So especially once the junglers hit level 6, I think there's a lot of combos that can be started up, especially from Rusty and Banana over the top with his R. So we'll see how this one ends up going. But it looks like the Drake getting started up by the Hashira here. Guillaume, though, separated from everybody else, will get stunned up here. Will end up flashing away. Bananasaur's ult ends up hitting 2 out of 3 here. Boonstra flashing forward to try and get it. Boonstra ends up with the ricochet, stealing the dragon. Gets 2. Bananasaur gets 1. Boonstra's going to get a 3rd one. And that's that's a double kill onto Boonstra. And a kill going over to Bananasaur as well. So Team Scorch coming out big time with this dragon fight here. They started up the dragon, but the ricochet ends up stealing it from Sivir, and he also picks up 2 kills after Akuza flashed. Oh, and Arya ends up flashing as Bananasaur just basically gave him the "what's up" nod. So Rusty and Ares are starting on the Void Grubs here in, as it looks like the Hashira will just be giving that up. Fully completed Yuntal's wild arrows. Done here for Boonstra. Stun coming out, and Guillaume taking a boatload of damage there, but returns with the ult. So him and Banana trading blows there in the mid lane. Merc Treads completed by Guillaume here. Let's see, Guillaume is on 46 splinters here. 47 now. Ares, though, with the ult coming out to defend. Akuza looks like he's prepping for a potential lane gank here. Ult coming out, followed up by a stun. And nice gank setup from the brothers here with Rusty and Banana. Snare missing out. Ares, though, with the flash, burns the E. And Giyu gets one back here. So 2 kills over to the Scion. Ares will end up burning flash. The only 2 things burned on the side of the Hashira was Zyra and Scion ult. So Rusty is bot side. Looks like he's kind of setting up for a counter gank here because he has no ult. Banana Sword does have a little bit of a roam timer here. So he has the ability of using his ult if needed, but nothing really going to start up. Scion starting to push back Ares' Pantheon here, especially with the armor boots and the fully completed Sunfire cape here. I believe he is a Demolish proc away from getting this turret here. Rusty is back topside as well. He does have ult. We did see Arya look at pulling the trigger bot side. Ginyu ends up walking away from that gank. I feel like Ares is sitting on quite a bit of gold. 1,300 here. I think Akuza and Giyu are just looking to just kind of just barrel roll this turret. And Giyu ends up getting the solo kill actually onto Ares here. Turret will end up falling. Rusty Crow will get one back. And I believe that's a shutdown. No, that is not a shutdown. Going over to Scorch, but they do get first turret here. TP coming out of Syndra, and nice ult and snare overall here, in a big turnaround as the TP comes out for Guillaume Syndra. And that is a kill apiece. And actually a kill across the board, as the top side of the Hashira ends up getting a kill each onto Scorch. So now we are tied up 6-6 here in the kills. We do have first turret taken by the Hashira. Scorch was the first one to get the 3 kills here, so objectives are going to be the main factor here for feats of strength. 2 favored on the side of Scorch, with only 1 being over for the side of the Hashira, but they are here starting up this dragon, so they're looking to tie this up to a piece. If I'm Scorch, I am immediately running towards, this Rift Herald, because this Rift Herald will give you feats here. And if I'm the Hashira, I'm walking straight into this. Giyu's already here, getting up space and frontlining here. This is a pretty tanky Scion here. Q goes wide by Giyu. Ares just taking some autos. Tengen's in here tanking up. Nice pushback out Nice ult from Calico. Ult coming out from Giyu as he just ends up pushing him back. Oh, and a big Braum ult, actually. And Ares will end up falling here. Tegan still standing strong here. Guillaume trying to push Bananasaur away. And it ends up just being a single kill onto Ares. And here, Tegan trying to back in a very interesting position. Victor Apple Moss. Yeah. Still, that was a fun one there. But nice seeing you in the chat, bro. But it looks like the Hashira, they all backed here, giving this Rift Herald over to the side of Scorch, and that will be feats of strength. Going over to Scorch. Ares trying to ult behind into Arya. Arya uses the ult to trade back and CC him. Calico will fall to Guillaume's Syndra. He does have a completed Luden's Companion here, so the Syndra's going to start pumping out some damage here soon. And he is on 60 splinters, so just a touch over halfway to the 120 mark. So, looking at across the scoreboard, looks like Giyu's almost close to his Heartsteel. Or that could be Warmogs. But item completions are about even here. Casper will be spawning topside. And yeah, the gold's only a 2,000 gold lead in favor of the Hashira. Oh, and Ares just gets one-shotted by the combo of Giyu and Akuza. This Zyra pick didn't have the fastest early game, but honestly, Zyra's not known for that, so perfectly fine. Rusty, though, dropping the ult down, and they're diving Guillaume with a TP coming out of this Scion. Tegan looking for Rusty here in the jungle area, as Rusty is going straight into Akuza. Tegan ends up using the ult, and Rusty grabbing the Rift Herald and running out! What an escape here by Rusty Crow. Oh, okay. That's clever. Bananasaur, though, getting jumped on after taking the turret bot lane. And it looks like he's able to get to the safety of his turret. An insane escape by Rusty, by the way. Do you have Bananasaur using ult here? Arya getting caught over. Ult coming out from Calico. Guillaume using ult. Zyra now pulling the trigger on the ult. Akuza ends up getting Ares back. Boonstra, though, off to the side here. So both AD carries getting split up from their team. 1 for 1 so far, but Boonstra ends up spell shielding the Scion Q, but will fall to the impeding Syndra Q. And it's going to end up being a 2 for 1 now in favor of the Hashira, with Gyu trying to do his best and create space. Gets a Heartsteel stack off of Banana. Gets a second one off of Rusty here. And the problem is I think they have to get Gyu out of this situation here. Ares does TP in. The Scion ult is back up. Oh, so much damage out of Akuza there. And so now Scorch has the tempo and the positioning onto this drag. Calico, though, separated away. Big stun coming out from Guillaume's Syndra here. He's coming up very clutch here in this mid-game with quite a few EQ combos coming out. Tengu trying to zone out Boonstra here. And it looks like after one of the world's longest dragon dances, the Hashira will pick up this Mountain Drake here. So what a scrappy back and forth fight. So Hashira is up by 3,000 gold overall. No flash on the Varus. Arya pushing that in means Rusty Crow's ult will land, and they will take out this Varus here. So overall here, we still see about a 2,000 gold lead for the Hashira after that pick. Items for the Hashira are in favor for top jungle. And that's about it. Midders even. AD is in favor of Boonstra Sivir here. Support there on the same items as well. So I think the main thing for me that I want to see now is Scion potentially going for a Randuin's Omen to try and combat the crit damage that's going to come out of Boonstra here. Black Cleaver getting completed by Ares is a pretty big pickup. So that'll help Boonstra do quite a bit of damage. So TPs are up by both mid laners. Guillaume does have the flash advantage. TPs are going to be up for the top side. Well, Ares will not have TP, but he does have ult. And the Hashira are setting up this dragon. I'm sorry, this Otacon take here. There are some plants around, but not as many as you would like. Oh, and they just get immediately eliminated. Akuza getting shut down from Banana Source. He's on 2 items now, plus upgraded boots here. So, jungler down for the Hashira. Big stun coming out, but they might be able... They will not take the impending fight afterwards. And a big win coming out of Scorch as they picked up Otacon and kills on 3 members here. The one thing to note is Otacon does lower your armor and MR. So that combat with single proc Luden's Companions, 15 and 18 Magic Pin, you're looking at almost true damage from Banana Source R coming down onto Akuza, or maybe even Arya there. So that's a tough Otacon to just kind of brute force there. So, I think the thing now that I'm looking, if I'm the Hashira, is being able to find a pick before the fight, or have a majority of the damage getting directed to this Braum or the Scion. The Scion's not going to be there to help push into Fog of War, but he is stacking up the Heartsteel quite a bit here. We do have some posturing in the lower river area. Ares just getting his ass beat by the Scion here. Gyu does have TP. Ares does as well. So we're going to see how this one goes. It looks like Ares is going to give over this top turret. No, Ares burns ult, actually, to save this top turret. Nice Q coming out of Gyu. Gyu starting to fall off a little bit on the health side. Just because of some of these multiple turret shots. Dragon started up by Akuza on the Hashira here. Rusty's passive getting dropped off is pretty big. Bananasaur's ult coming out. Akuza trying to dance. Dodges a majority of them. Oh, and Rusty ends up stealing the dragon here to tie this up 2-2. But Scorch looking for the impending fight, though Boonstra is pushing mid lane. And he ends up getting knocked up from the ult. And slowed, and it looks like Gyu might end up taking down Boonstra here on the side. Shutdown going over to Akuza and Bananasaur. Arya getting taken down here in the bot lane. And it's just Calico here. Boonstra did in fact fall to Gyu. So Scorch was posturing for this fight. And ends up losing their two backline carries here. Guillaume ends up picking up another kill here. So 4 kills now on this Syndra. And we're going to start to feel the Syndra damage ramp up here soon. Once he completes the death cap, he should be on full splinters here. He's on 114, so close to full splinters here. You're going to see a bullet of damage coming out of this Syndra in the next about 5 minutes. I would think here. He's on 1800, so he's got enough for another needlessly large rod. So yeah, I think another 5 minutes. This Syndra is going to go bonkers on the AP. Currently at 322. We'll take a snapshot and remember that here. Soon. Yeah, he's about 500 gold away from death cap here. Zanya's is a pretty big pickup for Akuza. Bananasaur almost done with his own death cap. So outside of the boots, the builds of these mid laners will be mirrored. Ares getting pushed back here is a level down to Gyu. Looks like he's potentially going Titanic Hydra. I still would like to see Randuin's coming out of him, since the majority of damage he's tanking up will be crits from Boonstra. Locket coming out from Rusty. This is one thing I do absolutely love out of Rusty, is he's not afraid to build some supportive items on these tankier junglers, like the Locket. Gyu just stacking Grasp and Heartsteel procs off of Ares here. And it looks like the rest of the teams are posturing up top. Gyu tanking 2 turret shots there, but he is a Scion, so really doesn't bother him at all. Rusty looks like he's potentially posturing for something. Gyu on a ward here. Looks like he's trying to back. I thought Rusty was coming down. Rusty, though, being away from this 3-man squad. Ult coming out from Banana. Arya getting poked here, though. And that's another kill onto the AD carry of the Hashira. 3 ults burned for that. Ares still bot lane. Ult burned from Zyra here as well, so this Baron looks to be going over to Team Scorch here. Sion with the ult coming in here. Bananasaur, out of all the champs, is the one to tank it up here. Ares and Rusty, though, posturing here for the fight. Boonstra and Calico coming down the river here. Gio and Tegan frontlining here. Guillaume using the ult on the Ares, but Calico with a nice ult to save him. And Boonstra is now just in this world where Ricochet's taking over. Ares falls to Gio. Boonstra now on a killing spree. 6-2 and 7 on the Syndra. Sion ult close to being back up. Rusty has ult back up as well here. So the thing I'm noticing about the Hashira's comp here is they just have no way of getting really meaningful damage or threatening damage on the Boonstra. Yeah, Bananasaur tanked the Sion ult here, but you know, his sacrifice was much needed as Boonstra just started to clean everything up here. And this is now a second Earth Drake going over to Team Scorch as they are now on Soul Point. As we're 32 minutes in, and they have roughly about a 2,600 gold lead over the Hashira now. The mid laners are up top, trading some damage here. Stun coming up short here from Guillaume. Oh, and they do end up taking out Banana here with a flash stun coming out of Guillaume. Baron buff still active as they're now pushing bot lane against Giyu. Oh, nice ult coming out. Does get the knockup. Bounce house onto Boonstra. Arya, though, gets ulted by Rusty. Boonstra kind of frontlining here, but ends up flashing away. Ult comes out by Giyu, but tanked up by Rusty as he's now the sacrificial lamb to save Boonstra here. So well played by Rusty overall to tank that ult. Ooh, Akuza going for what looks to be either Crit Bloom or Void Staff. I'm not a big fan of that when you have an extra AP champion here. I think Blood Letters is perfectly understandable and fine. Zyra does proc it quite a bit here. Anti-healing now coming out of Giyu. So that's going to be extremely useful here. Chain Vest coming out of Arya, so it looks like he's going for the Jack Show. So Arya is now about as strong as she's going to be. Another either Void or Crit Bloom coming out of Gio. You know, we talked about him being sub 400. Now he's almost 600 AP with Death Cap completed, fully completed passive as well. No flash, though, on either mid laner. Flash is coming back up for the junglers. Rusty's flash is going to be about 20 seconds ahead of Akuza. Ares having flash TP and ult up. Arya having flash up. So, a couple of key summoner spells will be up on this next fight. Boonstra completing the Bloodthirster. Excuse me. So it's going to be healing quite a bit. All of the upgraded boots coming out, with the exception of Rusty. Void Staff now completed from Akuza. So that's a pretty big pickup. Rusty with the completed Warmogs. And Giyu now is almost at 7,600 HP. He's actually got a push going here for the top side here. Enhanced Recall boots coming out for Ares is coming in clutch to deal with this. Nice sidestep. Guillaume getting just completely one-shotted from the Xerath here. And Giyu, though, just absolutely just doing everything he can to Ares, and will get the solo kill underneath the turret, by the way. So now this Scion has an avenue to take out this topside turret. Now we got the Hashira searching out to try and stop Bax here. And he does get the top tier 1. Scorch now, though, looking at this dragon here, I think they start up Baron. If I'm the Hashira here, you're going to end up giving over Soul, but you have a Zyra, you have a Varus. Boonstra's going to finish the dragon here. Rusty coming over. Akuza has a few plants going, but not many. We're at about half HP, now at about 40%. Hashira TPing in Guillaume here. Baron does reset. So, TP's coming out of both Sono laners for the Hashira. And if they back here, they're giving up a lot of position and tempo for the side of Scorch to just start up this Baron here. Scorch trying to pull off a little bit of a Fnatic brush here. But the waves are not helping them in this area. Well, I say that in Tengen, though. Moving in. Oh, and he ends up getting one shot here, as the patience was a great big virtue coming out. Arya receiving all of these pelts coming out. Zhonya's was used by Akuza the moment Xerath ult was popped, and that left him wide open to get ulted by Rusty here. And this is going to be the second Baron going over the Team Scorch, though. Giyu is pushing the top lane here. See if he backed off in time. Oh, he's just gonna ult away. Okay, so Baron number 2 going over to Scorch here. What an exciting game 1 already here. Full build coming out of Boonstra here. I gotta piss. Okay. Well, while he's doing that, we do have full build on Scion. 4 items completed for Ares. 4 item completed for Zyra. Again, another 4 off of Rusty. He still has yet to upgrade the boots. Boo. He's sitting on 1,400 gold. He should have upgraded on this back. 3.5 items completed by Guillaume. Banana Soar on the spike here. Looks like he's completing Storm Surge here real soon. So now the Xerath's at the point where he can one-shot both Arya and Guillaume and Akuza with a few ult pellets here. Boonstra, again, 100% full build on this Sivir. Arya close to completing what I am assuming is Jack Show. Only 2 items completed here for Tengen. As Calico, though, she is on 3 items and has a blasting one. Oh, I think I know what that's going to. I don't remember the name of the item, though. I got the picture in my head. But, yep. And this is kind of what I was afraid of coming into this, is if it was going to be on-hit Varus, now you have no Serpent's Fang to deal with these shields that are coming out of a triple Mountain Soul here. So Storm Surge completed by Banana. Hullbreaker completed for the Scion, by the way. No boots. And Guillaume just gets absolutely obliterated here. And this looks like to be the game for Team Scorch, as they just full sent it on this turret. Guillaume selling the boots for the Hullbreaker, but never got the chance to use it. And Team Scorch is going to take a very, very entertaining game 1 at 41.5 minutes here. So, hell of a game here for the side of Scorch. Alright, sorry, had a couple messages here on the side. Alright. And here we go with Game 2 draft. Looks like the Hashira is going to stay on the red side here. Alright. Sorry about that. So yeah, looking at the draft, we got the Volibear, Rumble, and Silas taken away here, and the Hashira take away Cassante, Mbessa, and Amumu. And Scorch pulling out the patented Zillion. This is probably the most powerful champion Scorch has in their pocket, because this could literally go 4 ways. This is a quad flex for Team Scorch. So this throws a really big wrinkle into the draft. The Hashira, though, taking over the Yunara and the Bard. Let's see. Yep. Okay, so Bard does get locked in here. And then the Ziggs getting hovered here from Scorch. Also a flex pick, I believe. I'm not sure if Banana plays it, but it wouldn't surprise me if he has before. So Jarvan coming out here for Rusty Crow. And then the Wukong coming out for Akuza here in the jungle answer. Let's see what the second band phase shows to us. So Ares taking the brunt of this band phase here. This, the Cassandra and the Ambessa were already taken away. Now Aatrox, Akali getting out of here. And let's see what the Hashira also picks up here. Way get taken away, and the Irelia here, so we'll see what the Hashira wants to blind here for a solo laner. You got stuff like Victor and Orianna up. Looking at the range coming out of Scorch, you can either play the range versus range scaling game, like Asol's not terrible, or if you're going to walk into them, having something like a Galio isn't bad. Rise, again, okay. So, some scaling coming out for Guillaume. The Rise is also potentially a flex pick to top lane. So we'll see what Scorch comes out with. And the Corki getting hovered here. Corki is also a flex pick. I know Bananasaur plays it very, very well. But we'll see if he wants to take the Ziggs or the Corki. And then potentially a Gnar coming out here for Scorch. Alright, and that Gnar will be locked in. So now it's up to the Hashira. Let's see, what is their options here? If they go Rise top, you have Victor mid. Ooh, okay, so the Malphite coming out into the Gnar. I actually do like the Malphite as a response. Now you have some proactiveness in your team comp. You do have a tank. I will say the attack speed slow is not going to be the most useful here into what Scorch is showing, but overall I don't mind it. There is a substantial amount of magic damage coming out, but I just love the go button that Malphite ends up bringing to the table here.
have the heart of a weakling.
Only friends flee.
All right, I'm going. The Medadas do not forgive or forget.
You can't cage me for long.
You're scared. Good to know.
So, looking at these two comps overall, I think they're somewhat even. They do have proactiveness built into them. I do like kind of the reactionary part from Scorch's comp. Even though they do have the Jarvan, Corki, Zig, Zillion, Gnar is a pretty tough four-man to just like blindly engage into. But I think if Wukong Malphite do get some really good solid R's going, or they play off of the Bard pick, they can be proactive in that sense. I do think the comp from the Hashira is very, very difficult to play out, just because Ryze and Yanara have to go forward. The only thing that I'm not a big fan of when you're looking at the side of Scorch's comp is this Jarvan. Like, this Jarvan wants to go forward. And yes, you do have the Ziggs coming over the top here. But overall, like, Corki's got to move forward. Gnar, if he's really good with the Gnar bar, gets free stuns in the Jarvan ults. So I see a little bit of the creativity and the combos that can come out of Scorch. But overall, if the rest of the team's not on the same page as Jarvan, I see this Jarvan just getting melted by this Ryze Yunar combo that he has to engage into. Alright, folks. Here we go with Game 2 of Scorch versus the Hashira Week 1 Group A matchup. Scorch did end up taking Game 1 from the Hashira.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Seconds until minions spawn.
BM Rusty. Everything, for the most part, looks pretty standard overall, except for I got one kind of semi-issue. Grasp of the Undying on the Malphite. That could be just a lane thing, but I don't know against quad range, not counting Mega Gnar, mind you, how you're proccing Grasp of the Undying multiple times. So that one's kind of weird. Again, it might be just something I don't know, but I feel like that's going to be very hard to proc.
Gotcha.
So lane's going about how I thought they would. Obviously not too much pressure. Corki will push the Rise in a little bit. Rise going also with the D-ring start is interesting. I figured in this lane he would go the Tear of the Goddess, but he'll probably first back that. Rusty coming through mid lane here. Oh, and Bananasaur with the barrier baits onto Guillaume here and ends up getting the 1-for-1 first blood. So big start coming out of Scorch again. Rise though using the teleport. He's able to push that wave in, so still going to be a touch even. Only 200 gold. Tengen using the journey, magical journey here to get some poke onto the bot lane of Scorch. Big fight here in the bot lane. As Tegan did have to burn Flash away here. Ares, though, getting ganked up here on the top side, just deciding not to burn the Flash. Gyu, though, awarded that kill, so nice of them to give it over to the Rock. Calico having to use her Flash there. But gank here in the mid lane. Oh, and Akuza ends up canceling an auto. Oh, and Arya, though. Well played. Going for the execute. No experience, nothing going over. So Rusty, though, starting up this dragon here, which is a, let's see what it is. It is a Chemtech Drake, so Drake, not the most useful Drake, in my opinion, to either side. I think you're splitting hairs on how useful it's going to be, but it does start the dragon stacking for Scorch. So Gyu and Ares just kind of trading away some stacks here. Tear of the Goddess built on the two solo laners for the Hashira, so they're looking to scale a little bit here. Nice trade from both mid laners here as they're both down to about 30%. So pot being consumed by Guillaume, though. Banana Sword, though, getting jumped on here with the Realm Warp. As he's looking to potentially execute. And he does get the execute out. So turrets now 1 for 1 on each side here. Though you do see the Hashira going after these grubs, as Rusty does end up taking away the first one. The rest of the grub's taken away by the Hashira. Oh, and Banana Sword winning the 1v1 versus Guillaume. So that's 2 solo kills here for the Corki mid against this Rise. It looks like we have a little bit of a fight up here in the top side. As Rusty's getting jumped on here. And Guillaume will pick up that. Boonstra, though, looks like might potentially be going down to Akuza. Calico did burn her ult here. And that's 2 kills going over to Giyomi and 1 to Akuza here. So big turnaround. And gold swing going over to Hashira. They're now up 300 gold. And more importantly, it's the 2 kills onto this rise. All in from Giyu's Malphite here. Will end up going just a little bit short. Arya picking up a plate for her efforts. Nice ult from the turret by Tengen here. Ares, though, oh, getting solo killed from Giyu. He tried to play around his Narbar, and he just needed the animation to get the final Nar going off, but ends up failing. And then when Tegan completes his back, Giyomi ends up getting R'd by Rusty Crow there, and will end up falling, which I believe that was a shutdown going over to Rusty Crow. So we do got about a 1,500 gold lead coming out. Banana Sword, though, getting jumped on and ends up falling as Arya picks that one up. Boonstra's ult does come in. Dragon will reset here. Let's see if Rusty can have one of his legendary steals. But he doesn't go for it, and that is Cloud Drake going over to the Hashira. So, just 1 Drake for both sides here. Rod of Ages completed by Giyomi, so he'll have it fully completed around the 22-minute mark. We see Arya's now on a rampage after that kill here in the top lane. And I will apologize for not speaking there. I did have a matter come up behind me, but we should be good for now. But looking overall, Rift Herald falls. That is completed feats of strength for the side of the Hashira. And everybody across the board outside of Tengen is sitting on 3 kills. Nice stun coming out of Tegan here. Dragon coming up in 5 seconds. This is an Infernal Drake. So, Calico is sitting on ult. Boomstra's ult coming back up here soon. Full ults across the board. Full summoners outside of Flash for Wukong and TP. So, all of the combat summoners are basically up here. Wards here. Let's see if Rusty going for the Blast Cone steal and ends up getting back out here. So 50-50 going over to Akuza and the Wukong. Oh, Ares back getting stopped here by this annoying ass bard. We are getting done here with the Trinity Force. Malphite, though, on 2 items. Looks like he's going to complete this Winter's Approach next, as that's going to be fully charged up. Rise should be close to completing the Seraph's Embrace. Sitting on 1100, so has another few waves before he gets to it. Banana Source Corky, though, a touch behind on the Muramana. I actually didn't notice that Calico, she ended up buying a tier as well, so a total of 5 tier items coming out between the 2 teams. 3 on the side of Scorch, 2 on the side of the Hashira. Calico getting jumped on here from Akuza, having to burn her ult. Guillaume and Banana Sword trade away some damage here. Realm Warp coming out. Banana Sword getting jumped on and will be taken out. Guillaume's one tanky ass rock. Rift Herald being used bot lane here will get the charge off, and this bot lane turret should fall. And Gyu just not giving any shits about this turret or any damage coming out of Ares. He just walks up to get the grass proc. So Casper is in the bot lane for this map here. A little bit of jostling here for vision in this tribe rush. Dragon is up here. As we do see, again, about a 6k gold lead in favor of the Hashira. And Rusty going in for the steal does get taken out. Boonstra, though, with a decent amount of return damage. But Jungler is down. They don't want to keep walking into the Ziggs, not with Otacon sitting here on the other side. The other problem is with Banana and Boonstra, like, this is a lot of damage getting poked out from them. Ares, though, is splitting the top lane here. His Narbar is almost filled up. Oh, and here comes the trigger pulled by Giyu here. And Corki and Calico will end up getting taken out. Boonstra looks like he is going to get the shutdown onto Akusa. Ares also TP'd into this, but Ares ends up falling to the dual backline carries of Arya and Guillaume. Oh, and a shutdown coming over to Boonstra as his ult came back up and ends up taking out Arya. So 2 shutdowns over to the Ziggs here. Got to engage here onto Bananasaur. Ult comes out. It ends up just burning Calico's flash here. Otacon still on the map. Ares, though, splitting mid lane. No, Ares does not have TP for this. Boonstra is pretty fed here, so the poke is going to mean something here. Ares now coming back halfway on the Narbar. Arya is absorbing some of this poke, but Rusty ends up falling. And the Hashira will end up getting it. Oh, but nice engage coming out of Ares here as Gio ends up throwing himself in there. Arya, though, trying to do her best Resurrection coming out. And Banana from over the wall ends up picking up Arya. And Boonstra will end up picking up that kill. Scorch this whole series has been playing these team fights so beautifully. And for the record, this is a W. W was maxed last, so Rarika's shaking his head here. He's a big, big merchant on W second. I respectfully disagree. I understand the logic behind it, but you want as much power and as much cooldown as you can with the Q and the E when teams are running into you. If you're playing for W max Ziggs, it just you probably pick Ziggs in the wrong spot. Maybe I don't know. It's a discussion. I had to see it in play, but I know there has been some Korean guys going W second max on Ziggs. So, Dragon up in 30 seconds here. Rusty got himself on the top side of the map, pushing that wave. Boonstra and Calico doing their best here. They will end up thwarting this mid lane push, as that is one thing the Hashira lacks, is the push into the Ziggs here. This is going to be one of those games where, as the Ziggs player, like, you're going to position perfectly, but then you'll die in the last team fight and the game's over with, and you're going to end the game with, like, 2 or 3 deaths. So Malphite does pick up the top tier 2. Ares, though, with the full Mega Gnar coming out, Giyu pushing back Rusty Crow here. Arya, though, popping the ult, autoing, and dancing around these fight. Boonstra drops the ult here. Cloud Soul going over. Ult coming out from Wukong. Oh, and Boonstra tried to get away with a cheeky little TP, but Flash Snare from Guillaume will stop that. And this is going to be Baron over to the side of the Hashira, which is a massive, massive pickup for them, as they definitely need this Baron to break through a lot of this wave clear and poke from the side of Boonstra and Banana. So we're looking at the Baron push coming out of the mid lane here. The Infernal Drake is also going to be used quite heavily here. Oh my lord! Guillaume just one-shotting Rusty there. Boonstra with the Ziggs ult coming out. Calico and Banana. Giyu just blast coning into the base and not really giving too much of a shit. Calico did end up burning her ult. This Malphite is pretty tanky, but here's the rest of the group here. And Arya now clearing both waves here. Inhib coming down. Guillaume having to pick up one of the heals here. Boonstra trying to fight back. His ult's about halfway off cooldown here. So, now that the Baron buff is over with, Rusty, though, looks like he's getting caught out here. Guillaume picks up another one. 9-3 and 6 on this rise. Oh, and Akuza having to flash away from Boonstra's ult here. Oh, that's actually quite a bit of damage from the Yunara W here. So Yunara now on 4 items here. Rise close to completing his 4th item. If 4 items done for Malphite, Ares just completing his 3rd item. Ares has just been getting picked on quite a bit this whole series. Elder Dragon up in 40 seconds here. Ares, though, looks like he's got most of his Narbar built up, though it is slowly decreasing here. Oh, Rusty ends up getting taken out again. Calico will end up getting taken out. She didn't even use the ult. Oh, big slow coming out of Arya. Flash coming out of Banana. And it's now Boonstra and Banana versus the world here. As Ares is having to take on Guillaume. Oh, he just doesn't care about the turrets, as noted before. My god, this Malphite is so tanky. And the Locket ends up saving the day here by Tegan. And game 2 is going to go over to the Hashira here, as they will take us to a game 3 in this week 1 Group A series. Oh my lord. Look at this damage by Boonstra. Oh my. So, impressive battle back here by the Hashira to tie up this series as we do go over to a game 3. So we're going to take a 1 minute ad break, and then we will get back to the draft. Alright, sorry about that. So, um, not going to touch too much on the draft outside of what we just seen. Um, I I think this is the first time in this league we have a Hui bot coming out. This is quite a interesting development. I do think the R1 Poppy does persuade away from the Hashira jumping into them, but um, I think overall I don't mind what the Hashira is putting up. For once, they look like they're the team that has no issues with people running into them. And the Scorch lineup, though, going with the Olaf here as the R5. So Olaf, I actually do like this Olaf pick. We'll see what happens into the Mbessa. I'm not 100% sure how that matchup goes. But we will see here, as we do have Game 3 coming up for the Hashira and the Scorch in this Week 1 matchup. So yeah, this is going to be quite an interesting game overall, and I'm excited to see how this goes. So I will take my leave again. Wife just got home, so we're gonna check in with her. But we'll run a 3-minute ad during the stream delay, and we'll be back with you once we jump in game here. But this is Game 3 of Scorch versus the Hashira.
Only pray, flee.
You have the heart of a weakling.
All right, I'm going.
I will wait for you to be better.
You can't cage me for long.
Coward. May you die with your eyes closed.
warrior's spirit is never broken.
You're scared. Good to know.
Summoner's Rift. Seconds until minions spawn.
Alright, here we go with game 3. For the first time in this series, we got the Hashira on blue side and Scorch on red side. Looking at the draft overall, this Olaf was an R5 pick, and I absolutely love this Olaf here. I think him plus the buffs that Renata will give him, and the Renata ult coming over the top, I think this Olaf has potential to ruin a lot of these fights here. So, I do love that. Overall, I think the junglers are going to have to track each other, just so Vi can know where to attack and how to be proactive here, because Poppy does a really good job at stopping a lot of her tools early. So Hui bot, big fan of that. Me and Pins used to kind of have some fun and play Hui Karma or Hui Milio, and just enchanter pokey supports that help out everything there. His level 1's not the greatest, but once you start getting into his level 2s, he can poke quite heavily. We do have, for the first time, I feel like a little bit more of a standard control mage versus control mage battle in the mid lane. So Guillaume not really going too deep into the hands checky style champions that he's been known to play between last split and this one. We do see Boonstra though soaking up this hook. Guardian does come out. A couple trade of autos overall come out here. Rusty looking at the invade here, but the rest of Scorch is also up here. They were kind of posturing for a potential 3v3, and now Rusty and Ares look like they're going in. Hook coming out here onto Boonstra, and Boonstra potentially falling here. Oh, and First Blood comes out with a nice QW from Arya here. Smite does come out, and Rusty Crow gets away with murder here, as he will take this blue buff away from Akuza. So the Hui bot lane already making an impact in this game. So, thinking there might have been a flash, but I think overall, Giyu just wanted to reset here. So, double longsword coming out for Giyu. Again, same double longsword coming out for Ares, so even back. Boonstra doing a really good job dodging a lot of this Hui poke. Though having the first back scout slingshot, not fun. Actually, the wave is in a terrible spot for the Scorch bot lane. But here's Rusty to try and hopefully salvage this a little bit. And looks like they, with Rusty being there, they just kind of let them push in. Nice trade from Gyu overall here. Gets the better part of Ares, but Ares does have quite a bit of lifesteal just from the auto attacks onto the minions here. So his wave is going to be perfectly fine. Hook coming out on Tenzu. And Boonstra getting poked out again. See, and Arya with another QW to take out Boonstra. Boonstra, who's had an absolute fantastic series, going down 0-2 early in this laning phase. Hui bot lane is absolutely insane. Goes so well with a bunch of different supports. Nice hook overall, but turrets do quite a bit of damage this early, so Akuza tried to short charge the Q. Here, Ares, though, popping the Ghost. Banana is here, and this is Olaf with ult going up. Not able to CC at all. Guillaume, though, using the W to get Akuza out of there. And after all of that, it's just one kill on the Gyu. Falling to Ares here. So this Olaf pick already starting to show the potential into this team comp here. So, yeah, we see Akuza starting up this first Drake, which happens to be an air Drake. Pretty useful Drake overall. Grub starting up. Tengen, though, face checking here, and Banana was already there. Boonstra just getting poked out the moment the supports left lane here. But it does look like Scorch is primed, ready to go for these grubs here. But TP coming out from Bananasaur to try and hold off this bot lane. But Akuza here with the Vi ult ready to go. They're pushing in this. We're going to end up seeing potentially a dive coming out from the Hashira onto Bananasaur in the bot lane. Tengen able to tank as much as he can. And actually, that was a really well-placed ult from Boonstra there to help out with the damage. And Akuza will fall on that dive. So, feats of combat, though, picked up by the Hashira. So they were the first one to 3 kills. Rusty going with a pretty deep invade there. Picks up there. Gyu, though, jumping onto the Olaf here. Oh, flashes away, but then looks to ult back in to try and pick him off after the W shield fell, but was unsuccessful in landing that R. And now we have a little bit of a lane swap here, as Boonstra's just going to decide to go mid and lane against this Orianna here. So overall, 3 kills to 2, about 1,000 gold lead for the Hashira. First dragon did also go over to the Hashira here, so we're about a minute 30 away from the next dragon, which is a Hex Tech dragon here, so a little bit of attack speed and cooldown reduction. Both teams would definitely certainly enjoy that. Though Scorch does get a touch more value out of it, because they do like the attack speed. Rusty does take this up, and the ult actually used by Rusty as well, as Tegan ended up landing a hook on the Calico here, so there's a decent cooldown burned here. Let's see, 116 seconds. You got about 40. It's I don't think it's going to be quite up for the next one. So Ares just going to have to fight this one out. He actually lived for quite a while. Guillaume picking up that kill, which I actually believe that's going to get him his first item here. Everybody else trying the back here. Does Vi get first item as well? This would be a massive spike. Okay, so we have 3 completed items coming out of the Hashira here, so they are in a really good position to pick up this dragon, though. Oh my lord, that damage on the Boonstra. But yeah, only 2 completed items. First Scorch. Ares does not have TP. Rusty caught here into this. Did flash away. Calico, she will also have to burn flash here to dodge Arya's R here from the Hui. First turret will give the Hashira feats of strength. Traps come out. Rusty Crow is here on the side, going after Arya. Rusty does have ult up now. A massive red carpet coming out of Arya there. And the Hashira taking over this second dragon here. I would not be a bit surprised if we see a touch of anti-healing coming out, maybe from the top side of the map, just to be able to combat this Olaf here. He did go Stridebreaker instead of the Ravenous Hydra here. Looks like they are trying to set up a trap for whoever goes after Ares. The trap was sniffed out. Banana Sword getting all in here by Gio, but lays down the stun and is able to walk away after the shockwave. Hook coming out. Rusty getting snared up. Ult coming out onto Ares. Oh! Rusty's ult was absolutely massive, though Ares could not stick on there. So 2 ults down. Actually, 3. 2 ults down. But here comes the public execution out of Ambessa. Tegan, though, with the flash hook on the Calico. Boonstra also getting jumped on from Arya and Akuza. And Boonstra is going to fall, and Calico is going to fall here. And that is 3 for none in favor of the Hashira here. And first turret goes over to the Hashira, and that is full feats of strength. So here they are with the upgraded boots. Ult coming out from Guillaume. He does have the phase rush procced, but Bananasaur able to just walk away. And Guillaume just face-checking Banana here. This Roa coming in clutch for Banana. She's able to put on quite a bit of damage. Back to Gio. Arya, though, again, just shutting Boonstra away from a lot of this minion wave. Up about 30 CS. And just continuously pokes out this Jinx here. Up 2 levels onto Boonstra as well, by the way. Actually, Arya tied for highest level in the game. Rift Herald getting started up by the Hashira here. This will help them continue to break open these turrets here. Looks like tier 1 top is still there, so potentially can get used on that. Banana trying to collect some resources here in the bot side and getting some decent tower damage. So Gio, though, back to pick up the rest of this wave here. So 7-2, about a 5k gold lead, all in favor of the Hashira. They do have the first 2 dragons as well, and this is a Ocean Drake that just spawned here, so everybody has their backs completed. Again, items mainly favoring the Hashira here. Arya on 2 full items now. Just pretty massive. Hook coming out. Shockwave does chip damage on Rusty here. Let's see. Lots of poke coming out, and an objective bounty completed. Boonstra with the R here. Olaf does fall. Rusty getting poked out in the back line. Ult coming out from Calico, but does not do much. I will say that while While Renata ult is really good versus engage, the fact that there's no AD carry means that it is a lot of just very innocent autos just smacking around in these team fights. So, but with that being said, they're using this tempo here. They end up picking most of the damage on the tier 3. Otacon getting started up and will fall for the side of the Hashira. So they look like they are in complete control of this game 3 here against Scorch. This way bot lane was a masterful pick. Oh, looks like we have a pick onto Giyu here, but able to just walk away from it. Completed first item here for Boonstra. I believe this Yuntel's been completed already, so yeah, almost completely cleared there. Calico getting jumped on here. Oh, a nice ball delivery system combo from Akuza and Guillaume, and that's a double kill going over to the Vi. And Ares doing what he can to pick up all of this on the top side, but he ends up falling to Guillaume, and that was a really nice combo overall. As he does have the Spear of Shojin completed, which helps ramp up Mbessa's damage quite heavily. Guillaume getting picked on here. Rusty booting away the Mbessa. Shockwave used by Guillaume to return some damage back onto Banana. But Banana has this completed Roa here, so he is deceivingly tanky. Was this drafted using tournament draft rules? Yes, it was. Curious about the picks on red side. Yeah, they showed Mbessa and Vi early in the first 3. Poppy was picked in the response along with Victor, and I believe Hui was picked up. And then they went through the second ban phase, and blue side or red side showed, I believe, Jinx or Renata, and then the last 2 was the Thresh Oriana, indicating it was Huibot. For if that helps you, there, weeb. So, Moonstra using the rocket, trying to get a potential cheeky little steal attempt, but overall, the Hashira just have this map completely surrounded, and there's not much chance of Scorch being able to fight back here. Banana Sword getting all in tiers did soak up the ult from Guillaume and will end up getting taken out in a solo kill. Rusty flashing and E'ing away as Arya ended up landing the Hui ult, which is Spiraling Despair. No, Renata was either third or fourth pick red side. R5 was the Olaf. I do remember R5 was the Olaf, but I don't remember exactly. I know it was Victor. Poppy was two of the first three. I don't know if it was Jinx or Renata. I believe it was Jinx. Here. But looking at this overall, Giyu though, going in, Renata ult does come out. Ares though, in the thick of it all, there's no anti-healing to combat this Olaf. And this Olaf is able to just run amok here. Finally gets taken out by Guillaume. And Giyu trying to fight the backline. And here's Hui, as Boonstra's trying to do his best here. Does end up getting the 1,000 gold shutdown on the Arya, as Rusty does fall. And for as much of a lead as the Hashira had after grabbing that Baron, or I'm sorry, not the Baron, but after posturing for the Baron here, Scorch ends up taking a 3-for-2 fight. But the main big recipient is Boonstra getting the 1,000 gold shutdown off of Arya here, and he's now sitting at 3 items. Yeah, Olaf put in so much work here. I talked about potentially wanting to get at least one source of anti-healing on the side of the Hashira, and they had not dipped into it yet, so that Olaf got to do any and everything. Experimental Hexplate put in so much work there. Yeah, Jinx got 860 gold plus the kill gold. So that was almost 2,000 gold from the fight in general. Oh, but here's a big pick on the Calico. But Giyu's here in the back line. And the Olaf will fall there. Giyu, though, with the public execution going forward. Nice ball delivery here for Guillaume. And now they are diving this turret here. Mid inhib is exposed. Boonstra getting hit by the QW. Probably gave him nightmares from the laning phase. So, guys, the mid inhib is open. But, okay, get both. So, both inhibs. And this looks like it's going to potentially be an end angle. Boonstra holding on for dear life here. Yeah, this ended up being a kind of a wallet diff on that last fight. Though Scorch played out these team fights quite well here. So, but yeah, and that is the Hashira taking game 3 here against Team Scorch. A very competitive series. So let's see what we have as far as an interview potentially.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, how we doing, sir?
Doing excellent.
Okay. How go ahead and introduce yourself to the stream real quick here.
I am the mid laner for the Hashira.
Oh, you're the goat. All right. What how'd that series feel overall?
Um, it was a good series. Game one, we kind of threw at Otacon. We were up 3k gold, but then we kind of just forced for no reason. Um, Otherwise, I feel like the trajectory that the game was headed in, we could have definitely won that. Game two, I entered early. Um, but thankfully, because of my team, I was able to kill steal a few kills, come back in the game and carry that. Game three, we kind of knew we would be winning bot, so we we just had to like not die top, and my top laner did that. So props to him because Olaf was kind of their only win con. If Olaf got ahead, he would just rush through like Wei, Ori, and just shit on us all. So we made sure to not die. Like my top laner said, he could have taken a few trades, but he decided to just play it safe. So he couldn't be dope. We did also notice the Poppy just hovering top permanently. Um, so yeah, overall, like we have a lot of respect for this team, especially their top laner Ares. Play with him a lot, so we know what he's capable of.
Yeah, yeah, I can second all of that. Though I think you guys definitely threw a trick or two there in the draft at game 3. Was this Hui ever going mid, or is this just kind of one of your kind of little specialty picks down in the bot lane?
Yeah, we noticed that they game two we expected them to put the Ziggs mid. We noticed they picked Ziggs and Corki, so we were like, wait, they could Ziggs mid because that would beat Rise. And I don't know why they didn't, but I feel like they could have done that and it would have been really good. Um, Game three, we kind of did something similar. I play a lot of Hwei, just not on my main account. Um, so we kind of could have flexed it. That's
Okay.
why we picked it. It was just like a flex pick. If the mid matchup is bad, we were planning on just putting it bot. And I don't know if it baited the Victor pick or not based off of that because I saw that they just picked Victor round one. I'm assuming that's because they saw the Hwei.
Well, even then, actually kind of prefer the Hui in that matchup. He can kind of play the range game in the Victor and push him in after the first or second back. So I thought the Victor pick
Yeah,
was
yeah.
quite curious with Hui showing.
I think they also, yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Um,
So, but overall, I do love Oriana, especially with Mbessa and or Vi. I think the ball delivery system is really good, and Mbessa
yeah,
overall
yeah,
loves those type of enchantery type of
yeah.
champs.
Exactly. That's why we picked that. Game three, we actually wanted to do. Do you remember that comp you guys played against us in the scrims? The one with Mbessa, Pantheon, Lissandra.
Oh yeah,
Like that was so OP. Like the way we got steamrolled, we kind of wanted to play that in one of these games. But the the enemy team picked Pantheon Sivir game one, so we couldn't whip it out.
yeah. Yeah, that we kind of fell into that comp. We haven't really practiced the Lysandra plus combo that we discussed. I think it was the last split. Actually when we played you guys and had a really lengthy discussion on that. But yeah, we just kind of fell into the Pantheon um list comp.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, so got started off with a really tough matchup, but come out with a win. Is there anybody in the group or any matchups you're kind of really excited to see going into the rest of the season?
Well, I would say this was the matchup we were most excited because we know Ares and Banana, play with them a few times here and there, and we're friends. So that was the matchup we were looking forward to the most, just out of like rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't really know like the other people in our group too well, so just down to face anyone we get.
All right. Well, I will let you go. It is almost about 11 o'clock here on the East Coast. But I do appreciate you hopping in and doing
Yeah,
an
of course.
interview. And now I got a voice to match the guy that's continuously going to kick my ass when we scrim.
Nah, bro, we learned a lot from you.
So we
We gotta
likewise
scrim again.
might be able to make that happen. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
my
sweet.
my squad enjoyed that very well, and I think we all of us got a lot out of that. So
Yeah, just let me know whenever you guys are down.
for sure, for sure. But yeah, I will let you go and go back to your
Okay.
team and enjoy the win. And a
Yeah, good
much
night, man.
yeah, yeah,
Thanks
you have
for
a good one.
testing.
Oh, much love.
Bye.
Bye. And that was the mid laner here from the Hashira. Um, he had a really solid series overall. I thought played a lot of these matchups really good. Except for game two, definitely got off to a rough start. But this was a very exciting opening week one matchup in Group A, and yeah, these two teams know each other quite well. So I think it was going to be a three-game banger no matter what. But yeah, so the Hashira starts off their split 1-0 here, and Scorch falls to 0-1. But yeah, we'll see what week two brings us. I believe that is all of the matchups here for week one. So yeah, uh, but yeah, I'm going to jump off here, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. I believe we do have a game getting casted tomorrow at around 7 p.m. So keep your eyes out on the Twitch channel for that one. And yeah, till then, deuces.